I'm Max McNabb, the editor of TexasHillCountry.com and the author of the beloved Captive Trilogy.
Max McNabb. Where's he from?
I'm not sure, actually.
Oh well, Max McNabb, drifter.
Yeah. When Bob...
Lonesome drifter.
I'm from Lubbock, Texas. My historical novels were inspired by real people and real events. It sounds like something out of Ripley's Believe It or Not, but in 1926, a rancher's son was kidnapped by the last free Apaches. They carried the boy into the Sierra Madre, where he was raised as one of their own, a beloved captive. This was 1926, not 1826. Most historians aren't aware of the fact there were Apaches living in freedom in the Sierra Madre well into the 1930s, even conducting small raids. In Far Blue Mountains, the first book of the trilogy, an injured young Apache girl is adopted by a powerful rancher named Jubal McKenna. He names her Dolores and welcomes her into his family as a daughter. Sometime later, she wants to go back to her people, so Jubal gives her a horse and the McKennas say their goodbyes. When she finds the Apaches up in the foothills, they tell her they've been watching her down below. They saw that she'd found a home, and she was safer down in the valley than she would be in the Sierras with them, where life was brutal and short, where Apaches were hunted and killed. So they tell her she has to go back, and if she ever sets foot in the Blue Mountains again, they'll cut her throat. Dolores rides back to the valley and lives as Jubal's daughter, exiled from the Sierra Madre, where people still kept the old ways. An eye for an eye, blood for blood. Another year passes, and the Apaches decide that the balance has to be restored. They ambush Jubal's family on the trail home from a village. They cut his wife's throat and kidnap his young son, John Russell McKenna. The Apaches show the boy an old scalp they covered in his mother's fresh blood, and they tell him it's his father's scalp. Now the boy believes his entire family has been killed as the Apaches carry him high into the Sierras. So in a twist of fate, Dolores and John Russell trade destinies. The trilogy consists of Far Blue Mountains, Death Song, and Sky Burial. The books follow Dolores as she's adapting to her new life, John Russell as he comes to see himself as an Apache, and Jubal as he rides with the legendary Soldier of Fortune. Jubal's band of mercenaries search the Sierras for his lost son, as thirst for revenge threatens to consume his soul. Get your copy of Far Blue Mountains at Amazon.com now. I knew I had to write this novel from the moment I encountered the obscure true story that inspired it. When I was about 19, I read a travelogue by this Englishman, a modern-day adventurer who wandered through the Sierra Madre in the 1990s. At one point in a handful of paragraphs, he relates an obscure historical incident, an injured Apache girl adopted by a Sonoran rancher named Francisco Cumbres. The Apaches had raided the village in Nacori Chico, and this young girl was standing watch on top of the peak above their camp. She had a rawhide cord tied to her ankle that was strung with little dangling bells all the way down to where people were resting. When she spotted the rancher coming after them, she tugged on that rope and alerted the others, but on her way down the peak, she sprained her ankle. So by the time she got down below, she'd been left behind, and this was how she came to be adopted by the rancher. That imagery, the girl on the peak in the sunrise, tethered to the bell rope, it was so striking I knew I had to write it someday. Then the exchange of destiny between the Apache girl and the rancher's son. I recognize all these mythopoetic, even biblical echoes in this history and the lives of these real people, and I had to tell the story. I completed all the books of the beloved Captive Trilogy before the first volume was published. They were a long time coming, but my apprenticeship in the craft of writing was also a long one. If you'd have told me how long it would be, I might never have started out in the first place. But sometimes naivete serves you better than courage. If you want to pursue this craft, you've got to read everything you can get your hands on and think obsessively about what you read. Break down the moving parts of every novel you read, every movie you watch, and rebuild it in your head piece by piece. Learn the mechanics of it so well that structure and style become second nature. I served out my apprenticeship in the craft of writing while I also did other kinds of work. I repaired drip irrigation for cotton farmers. I helped my dad and my brother harvest their cotton. Then later on, I became the editor of TexasHillCountry.com.